You know how every town has that one house? The one kids dare each to run up and touch on a dare? In our town, it was the old Miller place at the end of Cypress Lane. It was hidden behind a wall of overgrown trees, and the gate was always chained shut. The story was that old man Miller just vanished one day, 50 years ago. Left a half-eaten meal on the table and was never seen again. My friends Jake and Mia were obsessed with it. I was the sensible one. I always thought the stories were just that. Stories. "Come on, Sam, it'll be fun," Jake said that Friday night. "We'll just peek in the windows, see if his dinner is still there." He grinned, holding up a heavy-duty flashlight. I rolled my eyes, but Mia gave me that look, the one I could never say no to. So against my better judgment, I went. We waited until it was properly dark, the kind of dark that feels thick and heavy. We parked my car a few blocks away and walked. The air was cold, and the only sound was the crunch of our feet on the gravel road. The old iron gate was, as always, chained, but someone had cut a section of the fence behind a thick bush, leaving just enough space for us to squeeze through. The house was worse up close. Paint peeled off the walls in long, curly strips, and one of the upstairs windows was broken, like a black, winking eye. The front porch groaned like it was in pain with every step we took. Jake went straight to the big bay window, cupping his hands around his eyes to peer inside. Whoa, it's all still in there. Furniture, everything. It's like a museum. Mia tried the front door. The knob turned with a loud, rusty screech. "It's open," she whispered, her eyes wide with a mix of terror and excitement. "This is a bad idea," I said, my voice sounding small. "A really, really bad idea." "Don't be a chicken, Sam," Jake said, and he pushed the door open. The smell hit us first. It wasn't rot or decay. It was the smell of old books, dust, and underneath it all, the faint, sweet smell of pipe tobacco. Like someone had just been there. We stepped inside, our flashlight beams cutting shaky paths through the darkness. Jake was right. It was a time capsule. A thick layer of dust covered everything. A sofa, an armchair, a bookshelf, filled with old, leather-bound books. And in the dining room, there was a table, set for one, a plate, a fork, and a glass, all covered in a fine, gray fur of dust. "See?" I said, my heart starting to slow down. No half-eaten meal, just a bunch of old, dusty stuff. "Can we go now?" But Jake was already heading for the staircase. "We have to see upstairs." The stairs were a nightmare. Each one screamed in protest as we climbed. The upstairs hallway was long and dark, with 3 doors leading off it. 2 were open, revealing empty bedrooms. The one at the end of the hall was closed. Jake, of course, went right for it. He turned the knob and pushed. This room was different. It was a study. A massive, dark wood desk sat in the center, covered in papers. A pipe rested in a glass ashtray. And on the wall behind the desk was a huge, old portrait of a severe-looking man with a sharp nose and cold eyes. "Old Man Miller. Creepy," Mia murmured, shining her light on the painting. That's when we heard it. From downstairs, a clear, distinct sound. Clink. The sound of a glass being set down on a table. We all froze. The beams from our flashlights shook in our hands. "Did you hear that?" Mia whispered, her face pale. "It's the house," I said, trying to sound sure. "It's just settling." Then came another sound. The slow, steady sound of footsteps. Creak, creak, creak. They were walking across the living room floor. Right below us. Jake's bravado vanished. His eyes were wide with real fear now. "There's someone down there." The footsteps started climbing the stairs. They were slow, heavy, and deliberate. Thump, creak, thump, creak. We were trapped. The only way out was past that staircase. "The window," I hissed, pointing to the study's large window. It looked out over a porch roof. We scrambled towards it. I fumbled with the latch, my fingers slick with sweat. It was painted shut. "It won't open." The footsteps reached the top of the stairs. They were in the hallway now. We could see the beam of our own flashlights illuminating the empty space under the door. And then, a shadow moved across it. Something was standing right outside. We backed away into the corner of the study, huddling together. Mia was crying silently. Jake had his pocket knife out, which looked pathetic and silly. The doorknob began to turn. Slowly, so slowly. The door swung open. There was nothing there. The hallway was empty. We stayed frozen for a full minute, not daring to breathe. The house was silent again. "We have to make a run for it," Jake whispered. Now, we didn't need convincing. We bolted from the room, past the empty bedrooms, and toward the top of the stairs. I was the last one. As I passed the study door, a cold hand, solid as ice, wrapped around my ankle. I screamed and fell hard, my chin cracking against the wooden floor. My flashlight skittered away. I looked back. There was no one there, but I could still feel the grip, cold and impossibly strong, holding me fast. "Help me!" I yelled. Jake and Mia turned back, their faces masks of horror. They couldn't see anything, but they saw me scrambling, unable to move. They grabbed my arms and pulled. It was like trying to pull me out of concrete. The invisible grip was unbreakable. And then, the smell of pipe tobacco became overpowering. It was right next to me. I felt a presence lean down, close to my ear. The air was so cold it burned. A voice, dry as dust and old as the hills, whispered directly into my mind. "You should not have come for dinner." The cold hand let go. I didn't think. I just ran. We tumbled down the screeching stairs, a tangle of limbs and panic, burst through the front door, and didn't stop running until we were back at my car, gasping and sobbing. We never talked about it again. We couldn't. It was too big, too real. But that wasn't the end of it. A week later, I was cleaning my room and I found something in the pocket of the jeans I'd worn that night. It was a single, long, gray hair, and it smelled faintly of pipe tobacco. I threw it away, but the smell lingered in my room for days. Now sometimes, when I'm alone in my house, I'll hear a sound, a faint clink, like a glass being set down. Or I'll catch a whiff of that sweet old tobacco smell in a room where no one has smoked, ever. I never used to believe in ghosts. I thought they were just stories for kids. But now I know the truth. Some things don't vanish. They just get lonely, and they don't like it when you leave before dinner is finished.